Okay, so I want to start this off by saying I'm feeling a bit bad right now, a bit under the weather, allergies and such. So I'm gonna try to make this as high quality as high quality as you can get with a phone, if I'm being honest. Um, so I want to talk about the American issue in War Thunder because I think it is kind of growing and it's only gonna grow later into the game's life. Because I swear, every air match you get into, it's either America versus America or America on one day. There's never a top tier air match without America in it. And I know it sounds ironic because I'm an American man, but people often complain about the performance of NATO aircraft in game. And I find it funny when people do that. They look at the Su-27 and go, look how many missiles it can hold. And they kind of miss the grasp of the whole point that NATO aircraft can do so much better because they have so much more countermeasures, speed, better avionics, better radars usually, and it's just kind of, they're more versatile, they have better air-to-ground ordnance. It kind of just blows every Red 4 aircraft out of the water. Like, for example, in this next clip here, people complain about the F-15E and the drag increase and all that. In this next clip, I'm going to be taking an F-15E and vertical climbing until I cannot, and it really just kind of shows how irrelevant these nerfs have been to the aircraft. It still can push way faster than most aircraft can, and it can still outperform most aircraft. Does it have the rocket acceleration that it did pre-nerf? No, but people have been pushing for accuracy in game, and I just do not think that if we got more accuracy in game, that the F-15E would fit, let alone actually be good for the game in any sort of capacity, given its capabilities as a multi-role, as a strike, as an air defense, as an air supremacy, whatever it may be. You know, it's just much better at its job than most aircraft are at several jobs, and it can do those several jobs better than purpose-built aircraft for it. Like, for example, the A-10C. The A-10C is not a bad aircraft. It's a victim of BR compression. I already made a video on that. But if you compare the two, really, the F-15E blows it out of the water while using the same, if not, identical weaponry that the A-10C can carry, bar a few GBU types. But, the preface of you have your laser-guided 1000s, your laser-guided 2000s, your GBU 39s, all of that. You just have all of that on the A-10C, but then what makes the F-15E so much better? Performance. People always complain about the Su-25 SM-3, and I do think that the 40-kilometer, KH-38 ML and MT, I do think they should be nerfed or just not in the game, because there's nothing you can do as a NATO SAM, even as a Russian SAM in a mixed battle, as the Pantsir. You really have no range and no ability to counter that if it's launched at you, other than seeing it before it hits you, which at the speed the missile travels is not likely, let alone several of them being launched off. And I think the core issue is people see all of these things that Russia has, at least for air anyway, and they complain about NATO aircraft not being as good. Like, for example, the F-16C only getting 6 missiles. That was a point in one of my videos, but, even still, those 6 missiles are more capable than the 8 or 10 missiles that some Russian aircraft get, and it just kind of rubs me the wrong way when people complain about it. Because, for example, people have the R-73 AIM-9M debate all the time, when the AIM-9M is literally just better in almost every way. It's more flare resistant, it doesn't have smoke behind it. I mean, there's some, but it is very hard to see. It just has all these, and sure, it can't maneuver, it can't thrust vector as well as an R-73, but that doesn't matter if the enemy that you're launching at doesn't know, or even if they do know that you've launched one, the likelihood of them flaring it, because the amount of people that don't know how to flare it is so high compared to the people that do, that 90% of the time a rear or side aspect AIM-9M is a guaranteed kill. Obviously, provided you're within the right range, but granted, the AIM-9M is fewer and far between than the R73. On most planes, you cannot carry 6 of them. You can only carry 4, bar the F-16C. But on the F-16C, you have better options than just 9Ms. I'm talking about your F-15A, your F-15C, and hell, even your Strike Eagle. I would recommend packing 1 or 2 AIM-9Ms because their utility just cannot be understated. And, another thing that I kind of have an issue with people complaining about NATO aircraft, God, I cannot speak, I'm so sorry. But another problem people have with NATO aircraft is the overall just performance of them being quote-unquote ahistorical or lackluster or artificially nerfed. If you want to talk artificially nerfed, look at the MiG-29s, holy shit. They quite literally got nerfed into a BVR bus because Gaijin didn't want to add the R-73 to their airframe, even though it would have fit and it would have been historical. If we're going for historical, NATO aircraft would literally, any time past the 1980s, NATO aircraft would clobber every match and it wouldn't be close. I get if we got more modern Russian aircraft, there could be competition there, but with how good NATO aircraft are, it wouldn't be close. You already see this in Sim. Most Sim games, America is either on the winning team or it's a mixed battle, and America's on both teams, and it's really, really difficult. American jets are pretty much everywhere in the game, let's face it. You have the US, then you have Germany, then you have Britain. Japan has NATO jets. I'm pretty sure China, you have the F-5. France has them now. Sweden, I don't believe Sweden has them. I know Israel does. But, all these nations with all these NATO jets, and these will often perform better than their Russian, Chinese, whatever it may be, counterparts compared to your German and US jets that'll often perform much better. And Germany's top tier is a whole different issue of its own. I might cover that in a video. Let me know if you'd want that, because I haven't played a whole lot of Germany to actually have a proper formed opinion on it. But no, I think the main takeaways from this video are people complaining about NATO jets really is kind of baseless, because NATO jets, well, in terms of BVR for a long time, were at a disadvantage facing the ER with the 7M. The 7M was still a good missile, but I think the main takeaway about this video would be that NATO jets aren't bad. It's this that you're probably not using them right, or you're getting unlucky with the matchmaker, etc. But I think with that, I'm going to wrap this one up. Anyway, peace.